For a crime that's, of course, not is being ignored, but a crime that's again massively enforced by UK police. And we're moving on to Katie Hopkins. She's came out and stated that she was arrested for what she said online. Now, I reported this story yesterday on my main channel. However, there was a lot of questions being asked. They were saying, well, what was she actually arrested for? Well, we've got a major update from Katie herself on what it was for and why she could be facing prison. She was arrested and then may face is facing charges and may face prison time for what she said online. I've got a video here of Katie Arrest 1. Let's have a little watch of this where she came out and spoke about it first, and then we'll get to her update a little bit later on. But this is the first bit she said.
What my comedy shows do, they allow people to laugh at the things you're not allowed to say, because I can just about get away with saying them now in the guise of comedy. And it's a fine line. I was arrested and interviewed under caution. I haven't spoken about this yet, about 3 weeks ago. And I'm waiting to be charged for the crime of online communications, crime of speech. For my Katie's, I do a pub night online called the Katie's Arms.
I love the Katie's Arms.
So I've been arrested for that.
I see.
Because of what I said on my Katie's Arms pub.
You know, when you talk about that, the role of a comedian, it reminds me of the role of a journalist. Because when I was growing up as a journalist, you know, we didn't expect to be liked by the government, and we always got complaints from the audience. And you were sort of, and the mantra was, if you're hated by everybody, you're doing something right. You know, if everybody's unhappy with you. And then suddenly...
So that was that. I mean, she didn't say what the in particular thing that she said was there, but she did release a video of her outside the station awaiting the charges. Let's have a little watch of that first. Then we'll go into the reason why she was arrested.
And I, Katie Hopkins, state as follows. I have attended this interview under protest as I was threatened with arrest if I did not attend. I consider this interview and the police investigation to be an unlawful interference with my right to freedom of expression pursuant to Article 10 ECHR Human Rights Act 1998. I reserve my position in respect of any actions I choose to take, including but not limited to a formal complaint and claim for damages against Devon and Cornwall Police. I run a comedy pub night called the Katie's Arms, live on my Instagram at 8 p.m. on Fridays for 30 minutes. I started the Katie's Arms during the idiocy of COVID lockdowns in order to help people struggling with their mental health. The Katie's Arms is now an international community of people wanting others to live their best life, laughing with me and at me. My audience choose to join me on my Instagram channel live. If anyone was offended, that is their choice. I do not republish or upload this content. It is ridiculous that my comedic speech is subject to a criminal investigation, and as such my presence here is ridiculous. I will not answer any questions. And that was my statement to Devon.
So that was that, and now you probably want to know why the in particular thing what she was arrested for. If you go to the next video, she literally explains it here.
Fucking get back here, you cripple spastic. I'm a proper spaz. And actually, it's the last thing I got hauled into the police station for in the UK, just before I got here. I was told I would either be arrested or I had to turn up for interview under caution, was because on my Katie's Arms, my pub, where I just, let rip, whatever, I called myself a spaz. And I got arrested, effectively, by British police because that's offensive.
Jesus.
It's demonic.
Place.
Yeah, I'm waiting to find out if I'm going to be charged against the Online Communications Act for calling myself a spaz.
I'm so terrified of going to the UK.
So yeah, so I mean, we've seen a lot of things that you can get arrested for saying things online and all of these kind of things. But of course, the news came out a couple of days ago that she had been arrested and is awaiting charge and could face prison time. But that was the reason, because she called herself a spaz.
So self-deprecating humour is now illegal
Essentially.
in the UK in 2025. So you're not even allowed to be mean to yourself, Dan.
Nope.
You are not allowed to be mean to yourself. It's unbelievable. And who would be the recipient of that harm, though? Like, that makes no sense. You know, calling yourself a word, there is no victim in that. There is no, receiver of the insult. It's simply just self-deprecating humour. And yeah, this is the sort of Orwellian life we live now in 2025 in the UK. And this really goes back to something I've mentioned on previous podcasts, is Section 179 of the Online Safety Act. Excuse me. So this goes back to really what I've talked about previously on this podcast, which is the Section 179 of the Online Safety Act, which states that causing non-trivial psychological harm or intent to cause psychological harm is now illegal. So if you simply just say something that Ofcom deems to be intended to cause harm, that is now illegal. And clearly, no one needs to be the victim of this alleged harm. It is simply if they deem if you intended to cause harm. And yeah, we're now seeing comedians be prosecuted under this new legislation. Where do we go from here, Dan?
I don't know. We've seen it, of course, with the guy that wrote Father Ted, Graham Linehan, as well, who was sort of prosecuted, arrested under sort of comedic values as well, talking about sort of trans bathrooms or women's bathrooms, and we've seen the sort of response and the backlash from that. But, I think with Katie in particular, she's one of those figures that the establishment dislikes. And we've seen time and time again, when the establishment doesn't like you, they'll do anything to sort of bring you down. And that certainly looks like the case here with Katie Hopkins, which is super unfortunate. Actually, I'm a fan of Katie Hopkins. I like what she says and I like what she does. And it's good to see, I suppose, the police do have the manpower and do have the willpower to go after people that commit crimes, but they're just focusing on the wrong area. If they put this much energy into stopping the knife epidemic, the stabbing epidemic within this country, then the place would be a little safer.
Yeah, they don't care the fact that you could potentially be slaughtered every time you go out into the public in London. But God forbid you call yourself a spastic. Honestly.
It's just the world that we live in, mate. It's just the world that we live in.